Very good morning to all of you. Uh, Today we have to discuss about the service recovery. Service recovery. So last week we have been discussing about the service quality, and under service quality we discussed about the attributes that will lead to have a quality service. If you can remember things like the reliability, assurance, empathy, tangibles, right? So on and so forth. So then we said those will ultimately result quality service, and quality service will result customer satisfaction, and customer satisfaction will lead to customer loyalty, and then subsequently to customer advocacy. Now, having said that, we also found that there can be certain gaps between the expected service and the perceived service, and that has been explained to you using the serve call method, right? And so using the gap analysis method, right? So gap analysis method, and we identified certain gaps which can be prevented or closed in order to have a better service experience to the client. Then we also moved to talk about moments of truth, right? And then we said that it is uh, our duty to ensure that the whole experience the customer will have in dealing with our organizations better, in making them satisfied, and also ensuring that they will patronize our services continuously. So today we will be discussing on an aspect which is very important to all of us, because as we know, however much we try to give a quality service or a better service, it is inevitable that failures will happen due to problems related to our processes, people, or the systems. Right? So, especially when it comes to service organizations, the chances of not delivering the expected service is high, because as we have learned in the previous lessons, the service is highly variable. That means the quality of the service or the service that is provided by the person will vary time to time, and it will vary based on the mood of the person who delivers the service as well. Because of the quality, it is inseparable. So due to inseparability, and at the same time the variability which is inherent to service uh, organizations, there can be several instances where we may not, even though we have tried and even though we have done our level best to ensure quality, we will not meet the standards or meet what customer expects from us. So in such instances, we find customer complaints and dissatisfaction. So when something goes wrong, it is very important that we understand what has gone wrong and do the needful to recover, or basically take the corrective action in order to retain the customer. Otherwise, today we are living in a very competitive world, so that the customer has enough and more choices or the alternatives which he will take, leaving us. So therefore, today we are going to discuss about service recovery, and it's not just complaint handling, but it's a whole module on service recovery. And let's see how we can face such service failures and improve our service quality and retain our customers. Right. So recovery. What is service recovery? Now, service recovery can be defined in a very simple term as actions taken by an organization in response to a service failure. Right? So, service failures can happen basically due to unavailable as promised. So you have promised to give a particular service, but when the customer wants, you are not available. For example, the customer calls you and you don't answer the phone, or the customer goes to the ATM and the ATM does not have cash, and you have given a hotline number to the customer, and when the customer tries to contact the hotline to get a service, it is not uh, reachable. So unavailability. So you have promised, but you are not available to serve when customer wants your service. Second one, you deliver late or you are slow. For example, customer has a requirement to get a leasing facility from you, and he has a vehicle to be bought today, and due to your processes or to some problem with your people, you will not be able to give him the lease today. As a result of that, the car that he wants to buy may have been sold to someone else, or else he gets dissatisfied that what he wanted to buy today, you are going to give him tomorrow, right? And he's living on a risk that he will lose the asset. Similarly, he wants to purchase a land, and he comes to you and asks for a housing loan, and now you take a lot of time asking a lot of documents, and it gets delayed, and he might lose the deal. Similarly, for several other business matters, when you get late and when you are slow and you don't deliver the service as expected by the client, then the clients will get dissatisfied. The next one is outcome is incorrect. So you wanted to give a particular service and the service outcome is incorrect. For example, the customer wants to have a better haircut. So now you go to the salon and you promise him a particular haircut, you show him photos, but after giving the haircut, he is not getting the same service. Recently, I also faced it. I went to give a photo to be repaired and enlarged. So I gave a photo to the person. He showed me several photos in the studio, and I was very happy. But when he enlarged the photo, it was blurred. Then I asked why it is of not good quality. Then he was coming up with a lot of excuses. The previous original photo was not good, and when we have to enlarge the photos, these things happen, and a lot of excuses. But nevertheless, I'm not happy with the photo. So outcome is incorrect. So you have promised a particular service. You have promised the customer we are going to give this, but then what ultimately customer has got is something that he didn't expect. Next can be the rudeness of employees. So when the customer is trying to get the service, the employees were not courteous. They were very rude to the customer. Right? You don't hire rude people, but people can become rude based on the mood also. As I have told you once long time back, when I went to a particular restaurant in Mount Lavinia, uh, myself and my wife, we were very happy with the service. So we really enjoyed our dinner there. And then we went to that restaurant around 7 o'clock. So it was very fine. We really enjoyed it, and we wanted to take our parents also to the restaurant. Unfortunately, when we took our family and the family members relatives, it was little late. So it was around 9:30, and they were to close the restaurant at 10 o'clock. And when we went and sat at the restaurant, the service we got was very discourteous. Myself and my spouse was wondering what happened, right? The same people, but the way that they served, way that they talked, it was like that we have done a crime coming there when they are about to close. So it can change even based on the mood and based on the time that you want to take the service. So because service is so variable, so you don't hire rude people, but due to certain circumstances, sometimes you may have experienced the clients getting rude or discourteous service from the employees. Now all these things will ultimately lead to dissatisfaction, and the customer is not happy. The second, defection, that the customer will leave your organization. He'll say, I'll cancel my accounts, I'll cancel my cards, I'll cancel the facility, and I will go for another one. Negative word of mouth, that is the customer will start to talk bad about your organization. he will say that don't go to this organization, they are very rude, don't go to them, they don't serve you well. So a negative word of mouth, which actually harms services more than anything else, because as I told you, services are intangible. So therefore people rely more on what other people have to say about the service, because they have no way of assessing what they're going to get unless they listen to someone else's experience. Because as I told you, services can be experienced and then services can be assessed only at the end of the service or after receiving the service. Then ultimately this whole uh, service failures will lead to loss of business and loss of customers. And when you say loss of business, it is not only the current context that we are talking about, we are talking about the lifetime value of the customer. So you will lose business not only for now, but for the future to come. Right? So, service failures are actually detrimental or deadly. So, this can actually lead to several disasters. And when you look at the history or when you look at other service organizations, you have seen such experience or such instances a lot. And I am sure most of you during your stay in the bank or the financial institution may have experienced similar issues over your lifetime, over the period that you have been serving, and you will jolly well know how difficult it is when you create a difficult or unsatisfied customer, or perhaps at a later stage a customer terrorist. Right. Now, I told you service recovery is all about actions taken by an organization in response to a service failure. Right? So, why service recovery? Because an effective service recovery strategy can help to increase customer satisfaction, loyalty, and generate positive word of mouth. Now, I told you when there's a service failure, the customer will do the reverse of what we have just said. So they get dissatisfied, they will lose their loyalty, and they will generate negative word of mouth. But if you get involved and if you correct the mistake that has happened, and if you make the customer feel that we are sorry and we want to help you and let me correct the mistakes and apologize, sometimes you will be able to convert the customer to a satisfied person, and then increase his loyalty and also generate positive word of mouth, whereas the customer might go and say what something went wrong, but their service was superb, they helped me to recover, they compensated me, right? And they will talk about the compensation more than the failure, right? So I remember once there was the long time back, there was a problem with a chocolate to one of my friends. So he came and told that he bought a chocolate and the chocolate was rotten, and he has complained to this company that the chocolate was rotten with the photos, and he has said that he will never buy chocolates from this particular company. Next day, he said that he received an apology. A person came, collected the rotten chocolate, and gave him a box full of chocolates, a chocolate box. And he bought some chocolates to us also. That is a long time back, right, when I was a kid, right? And we were so happy, and then we it was a positive image that we created towards that company, and we were also wishing that our chocolates are rotten so that we also can call them and get a box of chocolates. Very recently also I listened to one of my friends, and his son has gone to McDonald's, and he has faced a problem with food, and he has complained to the head office, the McDonald's head office, and then they have apologized and they have told you can go to McDonald's and call us. Your meals will be free, and you can even take your friends. And he has taken a bunch of friends, and actually nothing was billed. He has been offered much more than he ordered, but zero charge. So the companies, how they go to an extent, to serve or recover issues. And what is happening is now the customer is not talking about the issue, but customer is talking about how the company has served him and how the company has delighted him. So instead of negative word of mouth, what is happening is due to the service recovery, company is getting positive word of mouth. That means that if something goes wrong, they will take care of it. They will take the responsibility. On the other hand, we also have another experience to share. Recently, there was my one of my relatives took his vehicle to a particular service station, and in the service station, one of the employees took the vehicle to drive it to a particular bay to clean it. And during the process, he was not very comfortable in driving, so that he went and knocked the vehicle against a wall, and the vehicle was really damaged. And then actually the cost of the repair is over 2 million. And when this matter was taken, the owners were so uh, stingy, and they were telling that they are not responsible, they can't help what to do, and all kind of nonsense. And then there was a police complaint also against them, and apparently it was found that they have not insured the service station. As a result of that, whatever the damages that will happen to the vehicle is not given by the insurance company, and the owner has to bear it. And although it is the responsibility of the organization and the employee who represented the organization, now they are telling that they cannot support the customer. So as a result of that, the customer fell into a very severe problem, and then he told everyone possible that not to go to that service station. And apparently, I found that they have lost a lot of business, and in fact, even we being relatives are trying our level best to make sure they close down the business. Right? So, so in order to do that, we are like the terrorist. We are telling everybody we see, don't go to that service station, because if something goes wrong with your vehicle, that's the end of it. So, service recovery will help to create positive word of mouth, and at the same time, service failures will create customer terrorist, unattended service failure. So a poorly attended service recovery will certainly create customer terrorist. Having said that, I also would like to mention a good thing about Toyota. Once I drew my vehicle to Toyota, and when I put it into repair, there was a small problem with the steering wheel, and apparently the steering wheel, the cover, it was damaged. So when I put it into the service, it was damaged. But during the service, due to the heat, it has got further damaged. So the service steering wheel cover is now damaged. So I told him, when I put it into the vehicle service, it was damaged. I understand, but it was a small damage. But during the service, and they accepted that it was due to the heat. Due to the heat, uh, it has got further damaged. Now I am in trouble because I didn't wanted to repair it this soon. Now I have to put a new cover to my steering wheel, and they were so excellent in handling the issue. They apologized, and they said the gave me the reasons as to why it happens, and at the same time they said we don't take our responsibility out. We will give you 50% from the cost of the new repair, and we will also do the repair for you. So I drove the vehicle again to Toyota. They removed the steering wheel, put a good, nice leather cover, and they said they gave a guarantee this leather cover will not uh, get spoiled because it's a very good leather, and they paid 50% of the cost. And I would recommend anybody to take their vehicles without any worry to Toyota, put it into the service or put it into the repair, because they take responsibility about your vehicle. Now something went wrong, but they corrected in such a way that I tell now to everybody to take their vehicles to Toyota because they take responsibility. Now, compared to the incident that happened to my relative, uh, I feel that I'm so lucky that I didn't go to those places, but I patronize the Toyota. Now, see the difference: uh, good service recovery and a poor service recovery. Uh, so good service recovery will also uh, shows people that the organization care for them, right? And also having a service recovery program will enable you to understand or collate the issues related to your services and take corrective actions in order to improve your service levels. And also you will be able to correct your processes, correct your systems, and also improve your service staff people by helping them to uh, overcome the mistakes or the problems that they have in delivering services. So having a service recovery strategy and having the mindset of service recovery is critical for an organization in order to recover a particular issue and at the same time to improve themselves to prevent such service failures being continued. Now, one of the examples can be given by the Hampton guarantee. Now, they gave a service guarantee, friendly service, clean room, comfortable surrounding every time. If you are not satisfied, we don't expect you to pay. Now, this is 100% commitment or a guarantee. If you are not satisfied, you don't have to pay. Right. So, with the introduction of this guarantee, Hampton Inn was able to increase their sales by US dollars 11 million additional sales revenue, and at the same time to maintain the highest customer retention ratio in the industry. So this is the ultimate thing that your organization will do, the 100% guarantee. Now, service guarantee cannot be given if you are not very confident about your service. So the service recovery strategies will tell you how you will recover the service, and at the end of the day, if you do a proper improvement on your services and if you are confident, you can always give a guarantee like the Hampton Inn, where you say 100% guarantee. If you are not satisfied, you don't have to pay. Right? Now, uh, this is an actual incident, and the revenue increase I told you, the US dollar at 11 million additional revenue and the highest customer retention ratio. Poor services and service failures obviously create negative feelings and responses from the customers. Now, at the same time, the negative emotions that will be created in the customers will, end of the day, create anger, disappointment, self-pity. Why am I patronizing this bank? Anxiety, right? Well, am I going to get the service? What can I do? I'm really confused, kind of a situation. Anxiety, and then the disconnect. They're not very connected with you, and they are coming to you because there is no option sometimes. So if, the moment they get option, they will run away from you, right? So they are not loyal, they are not bonded with you anymore. So the negative feeling, the negative emotions that is being created by service failures ultimately create highly dissatisfied clients, which in turn will create a lot of issues to you. Now, when you look at clients who has some issues with the services, and if they are let unattended, so you don't attend to them, you just ignore them, right? So they complain, and you say, okay, now this guy is are complaining all the time. Let them take what we want, otherwise forget about it. And you tell the clients when they come, this is how we do. If you want, you take, otherwise you find somewhere else. So if you are in kind of a don't care attitude, and if you don't worry about issues and you say, oh my God, the issues will happen, what can we do? And likewise, if you ignore the situation, then what will happen? Your clients will also respond to it. How are they responding? First one, they will leave your organization. And they say, okay, fine. Now, this is how you want us to do, but we don't want that. So let us go to somewhere else who will treat us right. Then next one, they will share negative thoughts and opinion about your company brand. So they will tell their relatives, their friends, don't go to this particular organization. They are horrible service. You will experience horrible service, so don't go. So when such negative thoughts and opinions being voiced, then there will be uh, uh, there will be negative word of mouth, and as a result of that, most of the customers, uh, new customers will not come, and at the same time the other customers also, existing customers will also feel that this organization is not good, and the moment something goes wrong, they will react in a totally a different way. And sometimes you feel what my friend told is right, what my relative told is right, so this organization is not good. So the chances are very high they will also leave with some small mistake that you make. Then apart from that, they can also challenge the organization by complaining to consumer protection authorities, organizations. They will go to consumer affairs, they will go to financial ombudsman, they will go to central bank, and they will challenge, they will complain, right? They didn't get a proper response, didn't get a proper service. Now there are clients who will complain to the financial ombudsman, or who will complain to central bank, uh, that their complaints have not been attended, their requests have not been replied by organizations. Right? So in such cases, what will happen is they will write to you, explaining, asking you to sort the problem and inform. So the customers can do that. When you don't respond within a particular period, they can always go to some external parties who will exert pressure on your organization, and it will damage the goodwill of your organization. Then they can also sue the company for damages. They say, okay, because of your incompetence, the poor service, this particular, I have incurred this type of a loss, this kind of damage happened to me, so give me the compensation. So sue means take litigation, right? Legal action to the company, asking damages. Then they can sometimes support competitors and create competition, right? So you have not treated them well, so what they will do is they will shift from you, they will switch from you, they will go to a competitor bank, and then they will also support the competitor, bringing in their relatives, friends, and uh, colleagues in order to hurt you, and also to build another competitor against you. So these are customers who will actively attack you, and one of the ways of doing that is to support your competitor, so that when your competitor grows, you will find that it is a threat to you. And then sometimes there can be customers who will create competition. You don't treat them well, so what they will do is they will open a shop uh, close to your place as a challenge, right? Or else they will create an organization where they will challenge you in service, right? So they will give a better service, and they say we will make sure we'll take your customers. Where I remember when I was listening to Richard Branson once, he said that one of the reasons for him to start the Virgin Airlines is that when he was traveling in airlines, he found he's not getting the service he expected. So he said, that I was not getting the service I expect continuously. And as a result of that, I thought I will start an organization, or I will start an airline which can serve the customers much better than the other airlines serving them at present. So the customers can also create competition. If you mess up with some of the top wealthy high net worth clients, sometimes they might buy another organization and will create competition for you. Now, although you think these are not happening, we have seen these type of things are happening. Then finally, negative impact on profit and long-term sustainability will be the result. Right? So, if you leave your customers unattended, if you don't follow a good service recovery strategy, end of the day, uh, I have given you certain things that the customer might do in response to that. As a result of that, final outcome is that you will lose your profits and you will lose your long-term sustainability. Right? So long-term sustainability. Now that is when you are negative, right? Now when you are positive, what will happen? Now, as you know, the average satisfied customer will talk to about 7 people, whereas the average dissatisfied customer, uh, the satisfied customers in average will talk to 7 people. Dissatisfied customers in average will tell their poor experience to more than 25 people. This is research finding. Research finding. So I think now the dissatisfied customers, not 25, it's much more with the technology, with the Facebook and the internet, the websites, the rating sites. There are high chances that the customers can tell even to 1,000 or more than that. But let's forget about all those things. Let's go back to this very old research. Even at that time, they were telling satisfied customers will tell only for 7 people. Dissatisfied customers will tell in average to 25 people. Right? But today, you have to multiply it by 10 or by 1,000 times. Right? Why? Because of the technology. So therefore, remember, satisfied customers takes it for granted sometimes. So they say, okay, I'm satisfied, but this satisfaction is something that I deserve, which is true also, right? So they have come to your organization to become satisfied. They have not come to your organization to become dissatisfied. But dissatisfaction is something that they don't expect. So generally, dissatisfied customers talk about it more than the satisfied clients. Satisfied clients sometimes they don't talk. Now that is what is happening to us also. When we are in the bank or in the financial institution, we have served thousands of customers who says thank you so much. I'm very happy. But none of them write a letter in appreciation of us. But if something goes wrong, we get complaints. There are higher chances that the complaints will go to the management, but rarely appreciations go. So this is the normal situation. So if you don't resolve problems right, then the chances are very high that you get uh, negative publicity compared to positive publicity for what you do good. Right. Now, if you solve the problems of clients, what will happen? So if you do a recovery, then you create satisfaction. Now, something has gone wrong, but now you have taken action, you have corrected it, and you have given compensation. As a result of that, now the customer is satisfied. The second thing is that you create relationships and loyalty. And it is apparent that we know most of the customers will get more friendly with us after an incident. So sometimes they don't talk to us and they don't have any relationship with us, but something goes wrong, they come and shout, and then we get involved, we support them, and we solve the problem, we compensate. And after that, they create relationships, right? So they become more loyal, right? They become more loyal because they are feeling all right. They have been helped. Their issues have been looked at. Uh, they have been treated nicely. They have been recognized. As a result of that, now they uh, become closer. Right? So you create relationships, and sometimes you improve loyalty when when something goes wrong. You go and correct it and make the customer delight. Then when you do service recovery and when you attend to issues and solve those, the customers will talk positive things about your organization, and you will have positive word of mouth instead of negative word of mouth. We just spoke uh, about that while ago. Then a good service recovery will induce repeat purchase. And sometimes if we have been treated very well, and if something goes wrong, if the company is there for us, we are not afraid to go and buy again. So we will say, okay, even if something goes wrong, this company will not run away. They will stay with us. They will support us. So buy na to yang. Let's go without any fear and let's purchase things from them, right? Because something goes wrong, they will make sure that they will look after us. They will not do like that. Now I remember I took a shoe. I bought a shoe from a particular company, and then after buying the shoe, it was a very expensive one. When I went home after a month, it was broken. It was broken, and I didn't expect a very expensive shoe. It was more than 15,000 to break within a month. So with a lot of dissatisfaction, I went to this particular shop and I told them, "See, you sold me a shoe for 14,000, more than 15,000. See, it was not only 1 month; it's broken." And then they apologized. They apologized and they said, "We are extremely sorry. Right? We will replace this with a new pair." And they said, "You go and buy any new shoe, any new shoe of equal value, or if it is more than that you can pay the rest, but the full amount is refunded, so you can buy any shoe you want. Go and buy." So I bought a shoe. Actually it was little more than the previous price, but I was willing to pay. I paid it, and then when I was about to go, a boy came running and he said, "Sir, we are very sorry about what happened. Let me give you two pairs of socks for you free of charge. Two pairs of socks free of charge." Now I was delighted. I was delighted because they immediately responded. They replaced the defective shoe, and at the same time they showed me that they recognize me and they are worried, and they care for me by giving me two pair of socks free of charge. Now what happened, I became so loyal to them, and even to date I buy from that particular shop without any worry. I would say to others also, don't worry. If something goes wrong, they will replace the shoe. It happened to me. So therefore, don't worry to go and buy expensive shoes from that shop. Something goes wrong, they will not try to run away from the problem. They will replace it. They did it for me. So I give a lot of uh, courage and give a lot of support to the company by reducing uh, the dissonance the customer has. Right? So we talked about cognitive dissonance in a previous session, whereas the customer is thinking whether to buy or not, and worried about the service that they will get, whether they are worried whether these people will give me a better product and whether they will look after me, whether they will execute the warranty when I claim it. So I will tell, don't worry, go and buy. So what is happening here? We are inducing people to purchase, and at the same time we also go and do repeat purchase. A very positive impact on profit to that company. Even to date, now I have bought more than two times after the incident, and almost all the shoes are above 10,000. So they get good business, and I may have told several people not to worry and to go to that shop. Having said that, same incident happened to me with another well-established, well-known company in Sri Lanka. And when I went there with the shoe, I gave the shoe, and it was in very bad condition. They were asking me, "Where are you working, sir?" It almost like you are working in a construction site. Uh, Now they are putting the blame on me. Sir, this is not the way to use this shoe. You have to take two pairs of shoes. These are exact true words. Two pairs of shoes. Use one, keep it for some time, then use the second one. Likewise, you use day after uh, after a particular day, you use the other one, and then the next day use the. Now I was wondering what is he talking about, and they were actually telling, sir, these things doesn't happen to others, it's happening to you. And like that, I was feeling like that I'm a big I mean kind of a fellow who will come and talk bad about their products, and I'm a victim. Now they are making me feel very bad, and on top of that they are insulting me also, okay, in a subtle way, asking where I work and how can this happen. And he was telling that this is almost similar to use at a construction work. Now, I'm not a kamkarwa like that. So I was really mad. Right? I was really mad. And apparently, I wrote to their chairman. I showed him the pictures, and although he told me that he will replace one to one and he will give me gift vouchers or whatever, I told him one thing is that since you spoke to me and you are so nice to me, I will not tell your name in my classes, or I will not harm your organization. But nevertheless, I will never patronize your brand. I will never patronize your brand. And to date, I have not. And I have told some of my friends not to patronize, but obviously, since he's my good friend and he was uh, apologizing, I didn't want to create a problem. But that is also part of service recovery that they had. But at the same time, I have switched from that company and I will never patronize it again in my lifetime. So this is the difference. Right? So service recovery will induce repeat purchase and positiveness, whereas ignoring customer complaints or not handling it properly will create customer defection and negative word of mouth. Now, uh, you may have also experienced during your uh, work or the profession, the service, when something goes wrong, the customers come with a lot of anger. They shout at you and they say that they will close their accounts. But when you calm down and then when you make them sit and listen to their issue and give them a good service recovery and solve their problems and give them kind of a compensation, like a gift or additional refund of fees, right, a refund of interest, or kind of a dinner, sending them a cake, sending them flowers and with apology note. When you do these things, they become loyal to you. They'll say, they will forget about the issue, and they will say good things about your organization, and they will become more loyal to you. And they are more loyal to you. So now there's a bigger relationship than before. It's like almost like you're fighting with your wife, and next day your relationship will become even stronger, right? And when you get friendly with again, right? So likewise, you fight with your girlfriend or the boyfriend, and sometimes after a fight, you become even closer. You get even closer, right? So similarly, after a fight or after a issue, if you handle it properly, your customer will become even more loyal and will get closer to you. Like the shop, the shoe uh, shop that I have become closer after the incident. I got I got closer to them rather than going away from them because of their excellent service recovery. Because of the excellent service recovery. Now the relationship is stronger than before. Now, having said that, let me also ask you a question. If that is the case, why not we mess up the service a little bit and then recover the service issue and make our customers more loyal to us? So first we will mess up, we will disappoint the customer, and then we will do an excellent service recovery. We will sort out his problem, we will give him compensation, and then make him feel that we are there for you, we care for you, and make him more loyal, so that he will become more loyal. Can you do that? Now that is a problem. Right? So now a paradox is something where you don't know whether it is right or wrong, yes or no. Right? So paradox is something that is a kind of a doubtful thing. Right? You don't know the exact thing, you can't talk exactly what it is, so it's a paradox. Right? So the question is, can you create a problem and make a customer more loyal to you? If that is the case, why not you create disappointment uh, with your customers and then follow a good service recovery? Now, why you should not follow that approach is because the possibility of recovery will arise only if you are notified about a problem. And to tell you, 96% of the customers, the research found 96% of the customers are sometimes not satisfied, but only 25 out of 96 will complain. Only 25% out of 96 will complain. And the rest of the people, I mean, they don't bother at all. So, therefore, uh, remember, uh, another research finding on this is that this one says, this research will tell you 9% unhappy customers will not notify. The previous one said 4%, right? But here it says 9% unhappy customers will not notify at all. Complain. Now, out of the people who will complain, when they complain and when their complaints are resolved, there is a chance of 19% of them come into your organization again. Now, see, it's not rosy as we thought. No, if you have a problem and someone complains, if you solve the problem properly, only 90% chance for them to have a repeat purchase. 90%. So that tells you about 81% will say, okay, thank you for resolving our complaint, but they may not come back to you. Sorry, it should be 19%. If you don't sort out the problem, if you don't sort out the problem, only 19% chance they will come back to you. That means there is an issue and you have messed up the whole thing, and after messing up or basically making a service failure, you you don't care also. That means one of your customers come and say, I had a problem with your credit card. You will say, okay, that's fine, we can't do anything about it. So chances are only 19% of such customers will come back to your organization. So about 81%, if you don't attend to a complaint, they will leave your organization. So they will say, there's no point coming back to this organization because they don't have us. Therefore, now they have not resolved our complaint. Let's go away from this bank, or let's close our accounts. So only 19% will say what to do it's our fate, and they will repeat the business with you. So what is the thing? When a complaint comes, if you don't resolve the complaint, if you ignore it, there is only 19% chance such customers will do repeat purchase with you. But if you resolve a complaint, there is a 54% chance. There's a 54% chance that those customers will come back to you. Right? So if you don't resolve a complaint, only 19% repeat business opportunity. But if you solve a complaint, then 54% is the chance that they will do a repeat business with you. Having said that, the third finding is, if you resolve a complaint quickly, that means something goes wrong and you immediately attend to it and you resolve the complaint very quickly. So if you do like that, there is a 82% chance that the customers will come back to you. So it depends on how fast, how efficient you are in resolving complaint for them to come back to you as repeat customers. Now, coming back to our discussion, now we said sometimes you can create a service failure, resolve it quickly, and then make sure that and ensure that your loyalty level and the relationship is stronger, and make relationship with the client. But the first problem is, don't think that every customer will complain. As I told you, only 9%. Only a very few customers will complain. Very few customers will complain. Many customers are very passive about their dissatisfaction. So when they get dissatisfied, they're not very active. They say, "Ayyo, adak na, we are not very happy." So it's a very poor service, and then they will just go away. They're not bothered to take action or worry about those things. Right? They're very passive. They may not bother to complain, but remember, although they are very silent, they may decide not to repurchase, or they may immediately switch to a competitor. Right? So majority of the customers will simply leave. Only few will bother to complain. So if that is the case, if you think service failures are okay, when they complain, let's handle the complaint, make them happy, and that is better. It's a complaint is a chance for us to improve our loyalty and relationships. So we let's not bother about the service failures. Remember, most of the customers will not even notify you that they have a problem. So you will never be able to understand why some of the customers have left your organization. So yeah, creating issues and resolving those is not the answer. Answer is, don't create issues at all. So therefore, let us allow the service to fail. It doesn't matter whether they get disappointed. We can have a service recovery and improve our loyalty with them. With that is a wrong thinking. That is a wrong thinking. Sometimes you may not even hear from the customer. Therefore, the correct thing is not to do that. Correct thing is to make sure that you don't fail at all. Do it right first time. Right? So it's not a good thing to do. Second thing is, service recovery is a costly thing. Right? Now, when something goes wrong, the customer will expect you to do few things. Now, there was a study on these type of things, and in this study found 7 things. First is that when something goes wrong, the customer expect you to repair, reimburse full, or reimburse a part. Now that is costly, isn't it? Now you have to repair, reimburse full, or reimburse part. Then at the same time, there are some things which are not costly also, like an apology, explanation, giving an explanation as to what happened, and then giving an assurance it will not be repeated, and then allowing a chance for them to have a chat with you or the talk to you and release their frustration. Now, those are the 7 things. But you find that the first three, what they expect, repair, reimburse in full or reimburse part, is again very costly for you. And at the same time, even when you correct the issues, correcting means that you are incurring double the cost, because you have incurred cost to do something and now you are doing it again, incurring more cost to the same customer. Now you are not getting a fee to correct the mistake. Now, for example, if you want to dress, if you want to stitch a dress, or basically a tailor comes and uh, stitch a dress, and if it doesn't fit, then what will happen? Now you have to stitch it. If you have not properly taken the measurements, and if you have not, if your cutter has not cut the dress properly, now the person comes and says, this is not good, it is not appearing right, I don't want this. Now you have to redo the work. You might say, okay, don't worry, we'll give you a new shirt done within a day. Yeah, sorry. But then again, to do a new shirt, there is a cost. Now, for example, if you don't send a statement on time, customer will complain and you will give a statement copy. But giving a statement copy means that you have to regenerate it and post it to the customer again, incurring more cost. And at the same time, you may have to refund the charges also. So more costly. You go to deliver a particular, let's say a credit card to a customer, and you don't deliver it on time. Sometimes you may have to go to a a place which is really far to deliver it second time. For example, there has been an incident where the organization has given a particular person to deliver a card to the office of a customer. Now, the office is in Colombo, organization is in Colombo, and it is just few kilometers away for this person to go and deliver the card. And what happened is this person couldn't deliver it on time, card was expiring, and during a weekend, the customer punched the card, and card has expired. He got really embarrassed, and then he called and complained. The organization was so responsive. They said they will deliver the card immediately, and apparently they had to deliver the card to Kandy, because now the customers has gone to Kandy during the weekend, and now he demands that he gets his card to Kandy, and if it is not being delivered, he is going to cancel the card. Apparently, if he cancels the card, he is a customer who pays, who actually uses the card more than 500,000 per month. Now, what are you going to do? You have no option but to send a person to Kandy. Now, see, that particular organization did it. So they sent the person to Kandy, delivered the card to the customer with an apology, and then they even reversed his annual fees. But see how much cost you incurred. So you incurred a cost for a person to go during the weekend to Kandy, and you had to provide a vehicle. The driver is being given overtime, staff member is given overtime, and you have to incur petrol cost, right? And then whatever the food and other stuff to the staff members, and then you also incurred cost in reversing the annual fees. Now, service failure happened and you recovered, but at a very high cost. So this, similarly, service recovery is possible, but always remember, every service recovery will come to you with a cost, additional cost. So it hits or it affects the bottom line. Then the second factor is when you try to recover, your service recovery effort should be absolutely superlative compared to the mistake. Now you can't just fulfill the requirement and move away. A recovery effort should be better than or something superlative compared to the mistake. So you have to solve the problem, and at the same time you have to compensate also. Now that is what that organization did. They delivered the card to Candy, and at the same time they removed the annual fee. So absolute loss, right? So you have to do that. So you sometimes correct mistakes, and you have to also send a cake to the customer or some flowers with apology note. Or sometimes you will correct the mistakes and you might have to sort it out with a dinner to gain the relationship back, to take away that negative feeling from the customer, right? So uh, this these are costly, and at the same time, remember, every mistake will generate additional cost to the company, despite the fact that you sold it and gain uh, uh, positive response from the client, right? So every mistake is a cost. Every mistake is a cost. So that's why we say do it right first time, so that your cost will also uh, cost can also be managed. Now, although service recovery is good, and after recovering, or basically after uh, resolving the problem, you will win the customer, it will certainly have an impact on the reliability. So you can't erase it completely. The scar will be there, right? Scar will be there. That moment will be remembered. So a service failure will certainly create a negative impact on the reliability uh, dimension of your service. Overall feeling about the brand will remain negative even after service recovery. Even after service. Now, you remember issues that has happened to you. You have faced issues. Sometimes those have been recovered. Sometimes those have been recovered, but still you remember those. When the second mistake happened, you will blame the organization, taking the first incident also into account. You will say, this is not the first time. This happened to me last time also. And you are repeatedly doing it, right? So this is what happened. Then customer may react and tarnish the brand sometimes before the service recovery effort is initiated. Now, this is very critical. Now, you are thinking no, something we can allow service mistakes, but because recovery can enable us to have a better relationship. But what if customer damage your brand before you are notified about the issue or before you take an action? So something has gone wrong, he goes and tells it to the media. Then only you will know something has gone on. Now your recovery is of no use. You can still do the service recovery, but no use because the damage has already been done. He has published about your company in the Facebook before he talks to you. So you can do the service recovery, but the damage is already done to the brand. So therefore, the service recovery paradox tells you the service recovery giving you a better relationship or increasing the loyalty of the client depends on the context and the client. Depends on the context, situation, the client. And basically we can talk about the 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 extent of the mistake. Extent of the mistake. If it is a severe mistake, sometimes service recovery will not work. For example, you have messed up with the wedding photos of a person. You have messed up with the flower arrangement. I have told you about that incident previously, right? When a particular person messed up with the flower arrangements of one of my relatives, and where he has gone and told, where this company said to him, we can compensate. Tell us what to do. Then he said, you have nothing to do because I can't marry again for you to do a flower arrangement. So they have nothing to do. They can't recover. So based on the context, for example, sending a birthday cake after 5 days of the birthday, what? How to recover? Right? You can't recover, right? And when a family goes to a hotel saying that the hotel is overbooked, sorry, they couldn't take the reservation right. Now, the entire family is in a trouble, and they will really get mad. Right? So sometimes certain issues that will happen will not give you a chance for you to recover it again, because the extent of damage that service failure will do, the customer will not be satisfied or will not come back to normal. And sometimes it depends on the customer also. There are some customers who are very receptive, but there are some customers, when something goes wrong, they're not willing to listen or take any compensation. So therefore, remember, service recovery is good, but what is better is to do it first time right, because the ability of service recovery actions to recover is dependable, and sometimes it's not 100%. It depends on the type of mistake that you do, and at the same time the context, the situation. Right. So the recovery paradox tells you, although service recovery is good, and after service recovery we can have increased loyalty and a better relationship, it is not the way to do things. The best is to do it first time and to ensure there will be no service failure in the first place. Right. So let us now look what will happen, or what customers will do generally when unsatisfactory service is being delivered. They can do three things. First is public action. Now that is, now they are not happy about the service, they have been given a poor service, they go and tell it to the public, some external parties. So they will put it in the Facebook, they will tell it to the media, they will tell it sometimes to Consumer Protection Authority, or they might go and tell it to financial ombudsman, they will tell it to central bank, they will tell it to other customers, and take uh, action where the public will be told about their dissatisfaction and damage your brand. The second response of a customer can be the private action. Now, in the private action, what they will do is, they will not be bothered to put it into the Facebook, tell others, send emails, or damage your brand publicly, but they will simply walk away. They will cancel their accounts and they will shift to a competitor. And then they will tell to their close friends and relatives not to go to your bank, right? So those are private actions. They will not bother to take severe actions, but they will do that. That is, they will move away from your organization and they will have negative word of mouth, right? Then the third category are people who will not take any action. They will not take any action at all. They face the unsatisfactory situation, but they will tolerate it and they will not take action. Now, it is interesting for us to ask a question: why people complain? Why people complain? Right now, before we move on to this area, we will take a small break. Now it's 10:12, right? So now it's 10:12. So let us take a small break and meet up at 10:30, right? 10:30. So 10:30 sharp, be online. So we will start up the second session. Let's start from where we stopped. Right. We were looking at the people, why people complain. Yeah. So when you ask the question why people complain, now complaining is not something that the customer finds no effort or cost. It's a costly thing, and customer has to exert his effort and time. So therefore, there is a particular uh, cost to the customer when he makes a complaint. Now, you will not do anything by putting your effort, time, and money if you don't expect a return. Now, that is common to all of us, right? So, none of us will do anything if we find that we are not getting a return or a result by incurring a cost or putting our effort and spending our time. Same with the complaints. Now, people who complain do that. That means they spend their money, they put their effort, they spend their time because they believe something positive will happen if they complain. Now, on the reverse of it, if someone feels that there is no point, or if there is nothing going to happen after a complaint, then they will not complain. So sometimes when it comes to certain government organizations or for certain places or companies, we feel that there is no point complaining, so that nobody will complain. They feel there's no point. If we complain, we will get into more trouble. So nothing positive will happen. So if a person feels there is nothing positive going to happen, he will never complain. He will ignore it. He will go to another place, or he will go through the process without a complaint. Only when a customer feels that something positive will happen, they will complain. And this also tells you that you must make the customer feel so. Now, that is very important, because you can implement service recovery strategies only when you receive a complaint. If you don't receive a complaint, how can you know that there is a problem? You will never know. So if you don't know that there is a problem, you can't take any action. So a complaint, we say, is a gift, comes in a very bad wrapping, right? So it looks very ugly, but it is a gift to you, right? Because the moment you handle a complaint proper, that will improve your service and also helps you to retain your customers and protect your brand, right? So you must instill confidence in the customer that when they complain, the complaint is being treated with due respect and due responsibility, and something positive will happen. They will be responded. Their issue will be corrected. They will be compensated. So something positive will happen. So then the customers will get encouraged to complain. It is good to encourage them to complain rather than having them leaving your organization, right? So people who complain believe something positive will happen if they complain, and it is good that organizations instill such beliefs in customers in order to get the complaints which are considered as gifts comes in ugly wrapping. They believe the society will benefit due to changes that might happen as a result of their complaint. Now, this is where the customers come and tell you, "Mata vadak ne, there's nothing for me, but at least you guys will do the right thing next time so that the society will be benefited. Other customers will be benefited. This will not happen to someone else." Now, that is another motive. So they say, now I have gone through a bad experience and I will ensure the society will not face it. The other people, other customers will not go through the same issue. Therefore, I am complaining. Right? So they want to make it correct so that they protect the society. They feel they have a social obligation to complain so that they can caution others to avoid similar situations. The third factor is that sometimes it is our when something goes wrong, we are doing a social duty so that others will not fall into trouble. Right? So, first thing is they expect something positive will happen. Second thing, they expect their complaints will help the society, right, and help other customers by not repeating the same mistake. Then the third factor, they feel it's their obligation or their duty to complain in order to make sure that others are cautioned and something positive will be added to the society by correcting the mistakes or highlighting the mistakes and preventing others falling into trouble. The next one is that these customers who complain believe that they should be compensated for the service failure in some form. So when a customer complains you, they tells you that I should be compensated. You must remove the charges, waive off the charges, give me some additional benefit. That is, their motive is that something wrong has happened to me. As a result of that, I experienced damage, something bad happened to me and it caused damage. Now I need compensation. So when they have such feelings, they will complain. The next factor is they feel that they have a right to receive fair treatment and good service. So they say to you that it is my right as a consumer to get a proper service, get proper information. It is my right, right? So they feel that it is the right of the customer. They come and tell you, I am a customer of you. You must treat me right, right? So they want fair treatment and good service. Next factor is little critical, that is to punish the service provider and take revenge, right? So they have got they have faced a service failure. As a result of that, something bad has happened. They got something they faced the loss or they faced damages. So as a result of that, now they are really angry with your organization. They are complaining because they want to punish a particular certain employees or to take revenge. Take revenge. Right? Now, these people are very hard to handle. And then I have come across a situation where one person came and told me this particular customer tells that I will complain all the time until you are removed from the branch. That is true. That is because he has got angry with the service employee. He is complaining. He is saying that I will complain for every simple thing until you are removed. That is to damage, right? And to create trouble to the organization. That is also shown under the motives why people complain. These are the reason why people complain. So you must know these things when a complaint comes, because you must know they are complaining and their motives are like this. Their mindset is this. So generally, in a nutshell, when a service failure happens, the dissatisfaction is triggered. Due to the dissatisfaction, two things will happen. First, the complaint action, first action. The second outcome is no complaint action. Now, no complaint action is what we observe most of the time, majority, right? Now, what they will do is either they will exit from you, that means they will close down, they will say, we don't want your service, right? or they will shift to another competitor saying that we will go to another bank, or they will stay with you because they don't want to lose the benefit, but they will also shift if there is a better offer or a similar offer from a competitor. So sometimes they will tell you, I am staying with you because of these charges, because of this product. When a new competitor comes, I will certainly switch. තව මේ වගේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකක් ආපු ගමන් I will switch. මම ඉන්නේ නැහැ. මේ වෙන දෙයක් නැති හින්දා ඉන්නේ. වෙන තැනක් නැති හින්දා. නේ. නැත්තම් කියලා because of your charges I will stay. The moment I get a better offer, better price, I will certainly move. So they are waiting until they get a better market offer from a competitor. Right? So if they get a better price or if they get a better value, they are highly likely to switch from you overnight. So very low loyalty level. Right? So some fellows, they don't care about your value or the price. They say, I don't care, I will pay more than what I pay to you, but I will not stay with you. I will go to another place. I don't care, you keep your product, I will take whatever the other product, despite it is not as good as yours, but still I will never bank with you, I will never come to you. Now, these are very hard people, they are very disappointed, they leave. There are some people who say, okay, no, I'm not leaving, but the moment I get a better offer means better value or good price from the competitor, I will leave. So this is very dangerous. Right? These people have left, but these people are staying. They are like time bombs. Right? The moment the time comes, they will explode. They will explode. Right? They will move away. Then the next side is complaint action. Now, when they want, have the feelings or the kind of attitude that we have discussed little in the previous slides, then they will complain, right? Expecting some positive action to happen, to correct the things or as a social obligation, to help other customers, to make sure the service is improved, right? Or to take the revenge, or to make the person feel bad. Then sometimes to get a better service. So they will complain. Right? They complain. Now they can complain to the provider. That means they complain to if the bank, if they are talking about the financial services, they will complain to the bank or to the financial institution. Hey, something is going wrong. I am not happy. Now I am complaining you. Right? So you receive it and then you get a chance to execute your service recovery strategies. Then the next thing they will do is they will create negative word of mouth. They create negative word of mouth. So they will go and talk bad about your company, and then they will damage the brand. Then another thing they will do is that they might take third-party actions. That means they get a third party involved in handling their complaint. For example, they will complain to central bank, financial ombudsman, or they will hire a lawyer. They will go for litigation, kind of things like that, right? So this is the way that the customers will react for a service failure and when they are dissatisfied. Now, in here you find complaint, the people who complain, and we have discussed about why people complain. Now, it's important for us to understand why people do not complain also. Why people do not complain? First thing is, as I explained to you, they will not complain if they feel that it is a waste of time and effort. If something not positive is going to happen, they will feel that it is a waste of time. Right? So we have seen these type of things. No? So we don't want to waste our time and effort complaining. We are going to cancel your cancel accounts. Right? Then these people don't believe that something positive will happen. So they think there's no point, nothing will happen, right? Now, it is not right to have these type of customers in your organization. So you must make sure that customers will feel that something positive will happen for their complaint, and the time and the effort and the money that they incur to complain will not go for a waste. Right? So that assurance you have to give as an organization if you want your customers to complain. Otherwise, they will simply move away. Right? The third factor is little critical. That is, they don't know how to complain. Right? So they don't know the process. What is the process to complain? They don't know the person to whom they should complain. Right? So sometimes you go and ask, "Oh, the complaint. How to complain? Where is your manager? Where is the complaint line? How can I send a complaint?" That is also a problem. Now, that is why most of the time in your organizations, to encourage clients and to sort out this problem, they have complaint lines being displayed. They say, okay, complaint hotline. They put it they put it on display at the branch, at ATMs, or perhaps in the website, right? So when the customer goes to a touch point, if he faces a problem, he has a way to complain, right? He knows how to complain. He knows whom to complain, right? So it's given, it's published, provided, right? So then the customer will complain. Otherwise, they want to complain, but they don't know how to complain. Certain organizations we have found, they keep complaint boxes, right? So you go there, they say, okay, complaint box. Certain organizations we have found, they have said, if your matter is not sorted within 15 minutes, call the manager, and the manager's number is given. So they know whom to complain, and they know the process to complain. Then another factor is they will go through the emotion focused coping. Sometimes they put self blame. They say, "Me mage warad, mage karma." Right? It's my karma, my fault, right? So therefore, there's no point complaining. I will bear it. They are disappointed, and they live with the disappointment, thinking that part of the problem is them. Sometimes they go through the denial, right? වැඩක් නැහැ. මේකේ තේරුමක් නැහැ, right? Sometimes they seek social support. That means they want to complain, but they want someone to give them some support, right? They say, help me, you come with me, I'll go and complain. So we say, you go and complain, why do you want us? No, 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 if you come, I'll go and complain, otherwise I can't go alone, right? So they need support because their personalities are not so strong sometimes, and sometimes they feel there's no point complaining as an individual. I must complain with a group, right? So they seek others also to join with them in complaining. Otherwise, they will not complain as individuals. Uh, so, in a particular situation, when the uh, uh, customer is not happy, he is dissatisfied, but he feels that part of the problem is the customer himself or herself. For example, they have applied for a loan, and now you have asked certain documents. They get little late to come, and as a result of that, now their loan gets delayed, and they have lost the deal. So they are now disappointed anyway, right? And they are thinking, okay, part of the problem is me. I couldn't give the documents right first time, so that is the problem. Sometimes you also make the customer feel so. Ne? You say, okay, If you would have given all the documents right first time, we would have given. It's your fault. Right? But the question is, how can the customer know what documents bankers want? So you need to have a proper communication in place to avoid such things, right? So the customer is coming for a facility and he calls you that I want a facility, then you should give him proper instructions. These are the documents I require. So by doing those things, you can help these type of customers. Customers are more likely to complain if the service is expensive, high risk, ego involved. Right? If it is less expensive, low risk, they might not consider it's worth or trouble to complain. Now, it's the same for all of us, no? If we take some service which is very expensive, there's a higher chance we will complain. Now, for example, if you are going to a five-star hotel and paid a thumping amount of money to stay there, even a small problem, you will complain because you have paid a lot of money. You expect a superb service. And when you don't get it, you are very angry. Sometimes when you go to a normal hotel, you may not complain for those. And sometimes if the service is high risk, right, or something to do with your some kind of a medical treatment, right, something to do with your appearance, the face or some appearance. So then if it is ego involving, for example, the service you are going to get will affect your personality, affect your social status. So if such kind of situation, you are generally there's a higher chance that you will complain because the damage is so big. So when you want some expensive thing, you get expensive service and you don't get it right, there is a big damage for you because financial damage, and you have gone for a high risk service and that is not being given, then there's a big risk factor for you. Then you are going to get a service which will affect your personality, which will affect your social status, then the damage is high. So there's a higher chance that these type of situations they will complain. But generally, if it is not very expensive, low risk, you may not consider to take the trouble, spend your money to complain. Right? So you will ignore. Now, ignore doesn't mean that you will forget what has happened. You will not complain. You will keep that grudge or you will keep that disappointment in you, and you will react for that silently, but you will not bother to complain. Right. Then types of customers and complaint actions. Now, some customers they complain on the spot. Now, that is very good. Right? So they come to the branch and now they are waiting to open an account. Now, it takes a lot of time. So what will they do? They will see the number of the manager. It says for any complaints call. They will immediately call and say, see, look here, I am at the lobby. I am at your counters. It is taking long time to complete this. I'm going. I'm not going to stay with your organization. Then what will happen? You have a chance to respond immediately. You say, we are very sorry, sir. We are very sorry, madam. Give me 2 minutes. I will check on that. So you can immediately go down and go to the counter and see what the problem is, or else you can ask the employee to expedite, or else you can do some give some response. You can give a cup of tea and then take your cubicle and talk to the customer. There are a lot of things you can do. So it gives you an immediate opportunity to respond. As a result of that, you can execute the service recovery fast and retain the client. The next type of client is they will not complain then and there. They go through the pain and they will go back home and they will complain later. They will complain by calling you in writing through email or via internet. Right? Now, There, what has happened is already the damage has been done, so it doesn't provide you an immediate opportunity. But then you have to do the post-mortem and then see how you will compensate the customer, right? By apologizing or taking some action which will make the customer happy. Third type of customers, they when they get disappointed, when they see a service failure, they will directly complain to third party. So you will get a copy. You will see that they are complained to the central bank, consumer authority, and they will copy it to you. Right? They say the interest calculation is wrong. Right? So I'm sending this complaint to investigate into. So they will do it. The next type is that they may choose not to complain, but to spread negative word of mouth. What will happen here is you will not get a chance at all to understand what happened and take service recovery actions, because this customer has not complained, but they will spread negative word of mouth. They are the people who will experience a bad service, come back and say, you don't go there, I went through this type of a bad experience. Now they have never complained, right? But they have gone through the process and they have absorbed the pain. But when they see, when they meet their friends, relatives, they will say, "And I don't go." Right? So they will create negative word of mouth, discouraging customers to come to your organization, and at the same time, they will also not come as repeat customers. Now you have to track these type of people also. Now you will find that the people coming to your branch, opening accounts, and sometimes they don't come at all. Sometimes they do transaction with your card and suddenly they stop doing transactions and now they are not coming. They have been sending salary to your bank account and now they have suddenly stopped sending salary. They have directed it to somewhere else. They have been put in deposits, suddenly they withdraw and they go away. Now these are the indications, or these are the warning signals you should see, observe, and take actions in order to address these type of clients who will not complain you but go with the disappointment, because they are dangerous than the previous three, because the damage that they do you will not realize, you will not get notified. Right. So when we are looking at complainers, we can find 4 types of complainers. Now, these is basically that we have grouped based on the characteristics of these complainers. We have grouped them into 4 groups. First one is passive. Now, what is passive? Now, passive people, they are unlikely to complain or take any action. They may not attempt to spread negative word of mouth or complain to a third party. They doubt the effectiveness of complaining and may think that it is a waste of effort and time. Sometimes they avoid complaining since their personal values and norms argue against complaining. So they are thinking, now you may have found these are customers, no? They say there's no point complaining. And sometimes they may say, no, I don't want to complain and put people into trouble. Right? I don't like to make others feel bad by complaining. Right? So these are the people. So they are very passive. They are not complaining. If something goes wrong, they will tolerate it, they will bear it, and they say, you what to do, and then they will move it. Right? But remember, don't take these customers for granted. As I told you earlier, these passive people are like time bombs. The moment they get a better offer and a better value proposition, they will move away. They will move away. So don't think that having these people, they are not complaining, it's okay. No, it's not okay. They will move one day very soon, as soon as they get a better offer. Right? So therefore, you have to identify these people and make sure that you take extra effort to understand them, to get the feedback from these people and then correct if there is any mistake. Now this can be done through observation research. You can observe the reactions of these people, You can observe how they the actions, right? And it's very important that you identify this category and uh, make sure that the recovery is executed, because you need to convert them from very passive, just satisfied but with low involvement, to a highly involved loyal clients. The next category is that these customers will actively complain to the service provider. So they will call the bank and say, I have a complaint, they complain to you. But they might not spread negative word of mouth. They may not switch or go to a third parties to complain. These customers are the best friends of the service provider. They believe something positive will happen due to their complaint, and it is their social obligation. Now, these are the people who will call your bank or call the bank manager and say, see, I have a problem. I must tell you that there is something wrong with your bank. Like, I face this issue and I'm really disappointed. You need to correct it. I don't want to tell it to anyone else. And I don't want to complain to Central Bank or anywhere else. I want you to correct this. Why? Because that correction will help other customers. It is my social obligation to complain. And I want you to correct this so that I will get a better service and the customers also will get a better service, and this should not be repeated. Now these are the best friends. They don't damage your brand, but they are complaining, expecting something positive to happen, and as a social obligation, and they have an interest to improve the service of your organization. So you must actually protect these clients, make sure that they are comfortable, and sometimes reward them for the support they give to improve your service. Then you have irrates. Now these people, they are less likely to complain, but they are angry with the service provider. They're angry with the service provider. They have gone through a bad experience and they are really angry with the service provider. What they will do is they will start to spread negative word of mouth. So they will go and tell everybody, but they may not go to third parties, like they will not file a legal case for you. They will not complain to consumer authority. They will not go here and there, but they will, whoever they meet, they will talk bad about your uh, service. For example, uh, the that service station who did not handle the issue properly, where that my relative's car got damaged as a result of one of their employees' action. So now my relative has not gone to courts, he has not gone to any other place, but everybody he meets, he says, don't go there. And he will tell, see, I went there, this is what happened, the damage was this much, and they denied to pay, and they are absolute rogues. So don't go to that station. If you go, your car is in danger. And if someone tells you your car is in danger, if something happens, nobody will take care of it. I don't think anybody who has a proper sense will take the vehicle to that service station. Right? So almost all friends, all relatives in that area has now stopped going to that service station. So very soon, now his vision is to close down the service station by spreading them out around with everybody around the vicinity in that area. But that may sometimes they may also not know that he's doing it, right? So he has not gone to police, he has not gone to courts, he has not complained to anyone, but he is telling everybody possible. Then there's no second chance, less likely to give a second chance. Now he will not take the vehicle again and tell me, okay, I'll give you a second chance. If you damage my vehicle, you pay me. No second chance. That these people are really angry. They are spreading the negative word of mouth. They will not give you another chance to recover. They will switch to competitors. These are very dangerous kind of people, right? They also believes in social benefits of complaining. Now, same with my relative. what he says is, it doesn't matter. Now the damage has been done. I'm not going to get the benefit. But still, when I tell others, sometimes the others will not face the same issue. Actually, it is dangerous, no, to take our vehicles there, because if something goes wrong, they will just say what to do, right? But if you take to authentic place where there is proper insurance, then the insurance will compensate for the damages that will happen inside the service organization. Now, I think it's a good thing to tell to you also as students. When you are taking your vehicles, you ask from the service station whether you have an insurance. If they don't have insurance, don't put your vehicle, because if some accident happens, if some damage happens to your vehicle inside the service station, your insurance company will not pay. Right? Your insurance company will not pay. So you have to claim it from the service station owner, but service station owner might run away like those people did to my relative. But if they have insurance, then they will claim from the insurance and give you the compensation. So it's always good that you ask that from the service station before you put your vehicle, because your vehicle is worth millions, right? And then you're not supposed to put it to every place who will not take any responsibility. So it's a social benefit. When you complain, it's a social benefit, and when you spread negative word of mouth, it's a social benefit sometimes. Then the other type is activists. Now they have above average propensity to complain. They will complain to service provider and also spread negative word of mouth. They will also refer to third parties. Now these are the people who will send you complaints, put messages in the FB, Twitter, and in the internet, and these are the people who will also write to central bank, consumer affairs authority, consumer protection authority, financial ombudsman. They write to every possible place. They will write to media, right? And then they are actually giving you a lot of pressure, right? They are people who believe something positive will happen as a result of the complaint, right? And if you don't handle these people right, they will become customer terrorists. That means they will do everything possible to damage your brand. Now, there was a case which I will share with you. Now, this case happened to Starbucks in 1970s. I be sharing this case with you. Now, Starbucks at that time had 4,000 outlets in the United States, right? And then they were a very big company, right? Now, what happened is that there was a customer who came to them and wanted to buy a cappuccino maker. So then he bought a cappuccino maker, but then it was found that the cappuccino maker was not properly working. It is defective. So what he did is he gave the cappuccino maker for repair, and he bought another cappuccino maker from them to gift it to another person, gift it to a friend. So he gifted the cappuccino maker to a friend, and he was supposed to get half a pound free coffee with the machine, but he didn't get that also. So he didn't get that also. Then what will happen? What happened is, even the second machine he bought as a gift and gave to a friend got defective. So he found that machine also is not working properly and it is defective. So then he got really angry. When he asked for the half a pound free coffee, and when he asked to replace the machine, the employees were very rude to him. Employees were very rude. So then he said that I want the defective machines being replaced with a better machine. At that time worth of $2,000 or more. Uh, uh, Actually, it is more than what he has paid for the machine. So he said, now there's no point you correcting the mistake and repairing this machine. I want two new machines, and those machines also I want better ones. Right? Perhaps, for example, he may have bought it for 1,000 rupees, but now he's asking you replace these two machines which I bought for 1,000 rupees, buy a better machine which is 2,000 rupees right now. I want you to do that. Why? Because I want you to compensate me. Right? So what he did is, after telling that, the company employees were very rude and they were saying no, they'll not do. Then what happened is, he said that he threatened that he will put a full page ad in the Wall Street Journal denouncing the company if his requests were refused. So then, even after that, they said no. Right? They never thought the customer will do that. But this kind of a customer is a very kind of activist who is like a customer who really got angry, and now because of his big disappointment and the way that he has been treated, he spent his money and published an advertisement in the journal, uh, saying what he has went through, the experience, and also inviting other customers who has faced similar issues to complain, and giving a complaint a number, right? So that all the customers who have fallen into this, let them complain to him, so that he will get a bunch of complaints where he can take some severe actions, and he is now creating a group. Now when this thing happens, when this ad was published, then the Starbucks apologized, and they wanted to replace the two machines. But then at that time, now the customer is so angry, he said, no, I want something more. Then he said that he want the Starbucks to put an advertisement apologizing him in the journal, and at the same time donate to his charity. Donate to his charity, right? So he demanded much more than what he demanded earlier, and apparently this got media attention, and most of the people uh, got to know about this incident, and it was a very bad publicity for the Starbucks. So it was a customer terrorist. So he created a whole big story about the incident, where the media published it, and as a result of that, the Starbucks has to go through a very bad time, and their brand got really affected with the action. Now these people are called customer terrorists. Now who creates terrorists? It's you who creates them, right? So when you ignore them, when you don't care, and when you become so adamant with the customers, whereas you have already done a fault, then you create terrorists. Now they actually do everything possible to damage your brand, and sometimes it will be very difficult after that for you to patch up, because they will afterwards they will work in such a way to take revenge, right? So it will become a very costly thing for them to overcome the issue. Now we have also seen similar issues with banks and financial institutions, where they have not handled the complaints proper, and as a result of that, customers have gone and published bad, negative, even negative publicity in Twitter, social media, Facebook, and where they have created issues, and has gone to courts against the institution, asking compensation. Now, after you create a terrorist, or after you create such a customer, it will be very difficult for you to recover, and the damage is also very high. Right. The next one, What are the common remedies that customers seek when they experience a service failure? Now, when there is a service failure, they expect the service provider very simply to take corrective action to make the service product right. I told you at a particular research they have found 7 types. No, so similarly, uh, they want first to make the thing right, right? So basically, if you have sold a defective product, they want you to repair it, they want you to replace it, right? Second, sometimes they will say, no, I don't want it again because now you have already messed up. I want you to reimburse my money. Third is that they might come and tell you, okay, something went wrong. I want you to reimburse part of my money, right? Part of my money. For example, this thing happened with that shoe also. First, when that problem happened to me with a defective shoe, I went to that organization. I told them, replace this shoe, right? Replace this shoe. And then they said they will not be able to reimburse money. Next time, second time I went, this is actually with the vendor that I had a fight, right? So second time I went and told, this is the shoe that you replaced. Now I want you to reimburse my money in full. So what they told me is that they will not be able to reimburse the money in full, but they will reimburse part of the money because I have used the shoe for about 6 months. So they gave a proportion. I was not happy, but still they gave me a part of my money. But at least they gave me that. But the organization that I'm very happy. They, when I went with the shoe, defective shoe, they reimbursed my full amount. So they told, you can buy uh, any shoe with same amount. So full amount is reimbursed in another way, right? So very simply, these are very simple things. When a customer face a problem, they want it first you to fix the problem or reimburse their money in full, or else reimburse at least part of the money so that they will see that they have been compensated. Now, those are financially affecting to an organization. So all these 3 things has a cost. Then what is cost free? The next 4, now these are all research findings. The next 4 things the customers want is they would like the firm to apologize. Sometimes they don't want to reimburse their money, but they want at least for you to apologize. Then explanation by the firm about what has happened. So they would like you to tell, okay, why this has gone wrong. So the organization need to be genuine with this. The organization need to be genuine. They should not try to fool the customer. They will come and tell, okay, sir, madam, we are very sorry. This has happened because our expert employee was not there, and we have used a temporarily hired employee. As a result of that, this has happened. Right? So we are very sorry. I saw a letter written by a particular organization where they have sent some glass boxes, or basically those are glass ornaments. They have sent it, they have shipped it, and when they shipped it for a particular stall to be put into a particular exhibition, it arrived about 5 or 6 days before the exhibition. And when this particular shop owner opened these ornaments, he found out of those about 10 ornaments have got damaged due to poor packing. It was not properly packed, and as a result of that, those have got damaged. Now, these ornaments he wanted to sell at the exhibition. Now, he knows it will be very difficult for him to sell after the exhibition these 10 ornaments. So he wrote back, he wrote to the organization and said that he is very disappointed that 10 of the ornaments that they have shipped has got damaged due to poor packing. He took photos and attached, and he said he want the money to be reimbursed. And then this company wrote to him back, and in that letter they have said that we are very sorry that this has happened due to a poor packing. We have explored the situation. We have checked what has happened, and we found our expert employee was on leave, and this packing has been done by a temporary employee hired for this purpose. So therefore, we understand and apologize. We will be sending you an express shipment which will reach you within 3 days before the exhibition. Right? And he was very happy. And they have also said that we will make sure that this will not happen to you again, and they value the relationship. Then this person was telling, see how good this company is, see how they have written, right? Now this is not a problem that will happen again. It is a temporary problem. I'm very happy with the now. He is delighted. He is delighted. Now, few minutes ago, he is shouting, fighting, and then one day before he is blaming to that organization. He was talking a lot of bad things about the organization. But now, after the reply, now he's telling, this is something that has happened due to a temporary problem. And they are anyway good. See how good they are. They are now sending me another set before. Within 3 days, they have gone to this. Now he's talking good. Right? So it's always good that you explain what has happened, be genuine with the customer, and show the customer that you are you are trying to solve the problem. Also give an assurance to the customer that this will not be repeated, because otherwise it will affect your reliability. Now today you might send him 10 ornaments again with the express shipment, but next time when he wants to order, he might remember, okay, last time when I ordered, they messed up with my order. Now, if I order with them again, will it happen to me again? Now, there's a problem with your credibility. So you have to tell them, okay, look here, this has happened due to a temporary problem. This is not a permanent thing. We are sorry. We will make sure it will not happen again. So that you have given the assurance. So the customer know it will not be repeated. So what are the three things? Give an apology, right? Acknowledge the fact that something has gone wrong and you regret, you genuinely feel for the customer. Then second one, give an explanation about what has happened. And so you have taken the time to explore and you have found this. Third, give them an assurance that it will not be repeated, right? So that you can rebuild the trust. Right? Then the third thing the customers expect is to provide them an opportunity to express their frustration to the firm. Now, when the customer calls you, or when the customer is trying to contact you, if you don't give them time and if you say you don't allow them to talk, they get really angry. And sometimes if you deny it, for example, they say, I have not got my statement. How can you say like that? We have sent it on time. You should have got it. There's something wrong with you. You check. We have sent. Now, I mean, both of us know something may go wrong. Sometimes the postman has not put it right. And sometimes there may have been a problem with the post office itself. Sometimes even if it is a e-statement, maybe due to the over quota or some technical problem, it has not gone. But the moment when customer tells you, I have not got the statement, if you jump and say, if you deny it and say, no, how can you say like that? Then the customer will get really mad. Customer will get really mad. Now, you're not allowing him to express his frustration and you're doubting him and you're making him feel very bad. That is not right. When a customer calls you and say, I have a problem, you tell them, yes, sir, yes, madam, tell me about your problem. Tell me what has happened. Now then he will go on telling, hey, look here, this, that. They will keep on telling. Now you must have patience to listen. You must have patience to listen. Now, having said that, I am not telling you that you need to listen to filth, or you need to listen to very bad language of the customer. Now, those things you have to tactfully handle. Right? So if someone is talking to you in filth and using bad language, then you must stop him and say, "Dear sir, dear madam, we understand something has gone wrong. We would like to listen to it, but we expect you to speak to us in a proper language. And kindly be courteous, kindly make sure that you use good language in explaining your situation." Very nicely you can say, and sometimes if it continues, you may have to hang up the phone. Right? We are not telling you to listen to filth or go to that extent. No, nothing like that. But then at least if he's trying to explain to you in proper language, let him speak. Let him speak. Right? So be nice to him. Talk to him in a nice way, and don't try to make him feel guilty or make him feel that he's the bad fellow, right? And you're angry with him for doing that. No, 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 no. You say, "Sir, we are very happy that you are expressing your ideas and you're giving us your feedback. Please tell us more. Please tell." Now, after expressing his frustration, generally the customer will get calmed down. Right? So once the frustration is released, he will calm down. Now, that is how the humans work. Now, when you get angry, you shout. After shouting, your situation will get cooled down, right? You uh, uh, will feel better, right? Now you have released some emotional pressure, right? Some emotional disturbance, imbalance, right? So yeah, once you release it, you feel okay. So after, I mean, sometimes the customers themselves say, "Now I've spoken to you very negatively. We are sorry, right? But see, I'm really disappointed." Now, sometimes after you allow them to speak for some time and express their frustration, they themselves will say sorry to you, because they also feel bad after releasing their temper, right? So it is important. The people who are handling complaints, they should have that skill. So now we have discussed about why customers complain and how to handle, why it is important to handle complaints, right? And then why customers do not complain, what shall we do about it, all sort of things we have discussed. Now, when a customer complains and when a customer goes through a bad experience, uh, what is his expectations from the company with regard to recovery? Right? Now, I would say the customer, the research has also found the customer has two types of expectations. First one, customer wants the organization to understand them and be accountable. Right? So customer wants the organization to understand. So you must tell the customer, "We understand problem." So that itself is something that the customer will expect. Second thing is accountability. We will say, "Okay, something has gone wrong and we take the responsibility. Right? Let me tell why. Let me tell how we will prevent it. Let me tell you what we can do about it." Right? So understand and become accountable. Customers don't like organizations who will not understand them and who will try to run away from the issues, who will try to evade their responsibility. Such organization, they will get really angry, right? So they want these two things to happen: understand and become accountable. Second thing is they want fair treatment. Sadharana treatment. Fair treatment. So that is, the fair treatment means justice, sadharana, right? And fairness, justice, right? එතකොට යුක්තිය ඉටු විය යුතුයි, සාධාරණ විය යුතුයි. යුක්තිය සහ සාධාරණත්වය, right? Justice and fairness in handling their complaints. So when you are handling the complaint, they expect these two things: justice and fairness. Right? Okay? what is fairness? This is a very interesting thing to understand. Now, what does customer consider as fair treatment? Now, it is important for you to know this, right? What is fair? What do you mean by fairness? Now, what does customer expect as fair treatment? This is again being researched, right? And then Steve Brown and Steve Tax has found three types of justice that customers are looking for when they complain. So when they complain, uh, fair treatment means they expect these type of fairness. What are the three types? Outcome fairness. What is outcome fairness? Concerns the results that customers receive from their complaints. Now, that is very simply can be expressed as punishment should fit the crime, nothing more, nothing less. So punishment should fit the crime. Now, when there is a murder, you sentence him to the death. When there is a murder, you can't give him a 1,000 rupee fine and put him out. So when someone does a murder, uh, generally he will be imprisoned for life or sentenced to the death or death penalty, right? But for a person who do a traffic violation, now for a person who do a traffic violation or these days lane breach the lane discipline, you don't put him sentence him to the death or give him lifetime imprisonment. So it can be a fine or give him a class like these days you ask him to come for a class to learn discipline again, or you fine him with 1,500 or 2,000 rupees and then you put him away, right? But if this is for a small traffic violation, but if he knocks a person, then you will remand him and you will fine him with a bigger fine, right? So punishment should fit the crime. Otherwise, the affected party will not feel the justice has happened. Right? Similarly, your compensations or what you do with regard to a complaint should fit the damage. So you have to see the amount of damage you have caused to the customer. Based on the amount of damage that has happened or the customer has gone through, you will have to give a compensation. Otherwise, what will happen is customer will not feel that he has been treated fairly. Second fairness aspect is procedural fairness. Now, this refers to the policies, rules, and timeliness of the complaint process. The customer expect to have a very fair procedure, and then he doesn't expect him to get embarrassed. He doesn't expect biasness. He doesn't expect him to go through a hassle, spend more time, effort in the process of solving his issue, and he doesn't expect him to be in dilemma, right? In a situation where he does not know what is happening and why it has happened. So the things are not transparent. He don't want like that. He want very transparent, very clear cut process which is unbiased, and he wants it to be a very clear process, and at the same time obviously the speed and absence of hassle, right? It should be a speedy process. You can't expect a complaint to be responded after a week, after a month. It should be speedy. Within 24 hours, it should happen, right? And you can't expect customer to go through hassle. It should be hassle free. Now, with that particular company that I told you with regard to credit card, when the customer calls from Candy, then my card has got expired, you have not delivered it, it's your fault, and I'm in trouble. You can't say, okay, then you finish your trip and come back. We don't care. You can't spend from a card, use another competitor card. If you say like that, uh, or if you tell to the customer, we can't come and deliver it, we will deliver it to one of our branches, you go and collect it from there. Now, you don't put a lot of hassle to the customers all. Now, what they did is, they were very sweet. They said, okay, today itself, we will deliver. We will send a person from Colombo. And that person went all the way to Kandy, gave the card to him, and he was delighted. Now, this person will become a brand ambassador, right? Unpaid. He'll talk about the incident. He say, superb service. Now, 24 hours before, or perhaps few hours before, he was a terrorist. He was saying, "Oh, they are very bad service, poor service. I got embarrassed and this and that." But when he found that you have taken the trouble for a person to come all the way to Kandy, give him the card, make him comfortable, now he's selling superb service. That is superb, unbelievable. Right? Now he's so happy. So, otherwise, if you tell him, see, look here, no way to send it, we will send it to one of our branches. When you come back, you go and collect it. We can't do that. Right? He get really mad. Right? So the procedure needs to be clear. You must not trouble the customer more. It has to be hassle free, and it should be a speedy process. So procedural fairness, unbiased, transparent, quick, fair, hassle-free process in dealing with the complaints. Third factor is interactional fairness. This is interpersonal. This is treatment received during the complaint process. He would like the organization to handle him as a complainer very politely and honestly. Also, give due care and respect to him during the process. Now, you can't say, you are the one who complained. Okay, we'll see. Okay, we'll see, right? Why did you complain? Why did you complain? You should have spoken to us. Now, if you try to become too rude to the customer, and because he complained, if you make him feel that he's a criminal, and you will say that because you complain, we will make sure you are in trouble, then the customer will not see any fairness. Even though you correct the problem, he will say, I can't go to that place again. They will take revenge. They are very bad. They treated me like a criminal. I don't want to go there. So complaining, when you make the person feel complain is a crime, then the customer will get really disappointed. He will move away. Right? So you must not make him feel that he has done a crime. Instead, you must make him feel that he has done a favor to you by complaining, because he could have shifted, he could have switched without complaining to you. But now he has taken the trouble to complain. And as I told you, complain is an opportunity for you to correct yourself. So you must make him feel that you appreciate that he took his time, effort, and money to complain, and you are trying genuinely to help him. And during that process, you must handle them with a lot of courtesy and in a very honest, caring manner, so that the customer will feel dealing with the organization when there is a complaint is easy and hassle free, so that uh, after the after solving the issue, they will not have a bad experience. So when uh, a person complains, he expects fair treatment, and fairness means outcome fairness. That means you compensate him in such a way that it will offset the damage, right? And then the procedure customer has to follow in resolving his complaint is fair, speedy, and then very clear, very transparent, and hassle free. Then when you interact with the customer, you show him courtesy, and you show him very polite, caring, honest attitude in dealing with him. So when you do have all these three types of attributes, then the customer will feel that he got a fair treatment. Moderate treat kara, sadharana treat kara. So they will become happy. They say my complaint was very nicely handled. So what the customer will say is very simply, they say my complaint was very nicely handled. Their complaint handling is superb, excellent, great. Now, to get those endorsements, you need to follow these three types of fair treatment. So, complaint handling and service recovery process, procedural justice, interactive justice, outcome justice. So, result of that is customer satisfaction with the service recovery. So, following a service recovery, will they switch or will they stay with you? Now, this depends on several factors. One is magnitude of the failure. Now, when you follow a service recovery strategy, there's no guarantee that the customer will stay. Now, the service recovery, although it doesn't give you a guarantee the customer will stay, he will do a repeat purchase, it will certainly dilute the impact. Sometimes a customer who wants to go to courts to ask compensation may not go. Sometimes a customer who wants to damage you as a terrorist may not do that. Sometimes a customer who wants to support your competitor may not do it. So it will somehow or the other help you to minimize the damage. But there is no guarantee that they will stay with you. The customer will stay with you. Now that depends most of the time on several factors. Now, first factor is the magnitude of the failure. As I told you, if it is a very sensitive, if it is a very grave mistake that you have done, then sometimes the customer may switch. He will never come back to you. Right? For example, as I told you earlier, perhaps if you have messed up his wedding, now you have been given the photography, or maybe you have been hired as the band, or maybe you have been given the decorations and you have messed up, or else you have messed up with the food, and this person gets embarrassed uh, among the relatives and friends, and that will be the end of it. It doesn't matter however you try, you might not get him back. Sometimes if some fraud has happened with regard to the accounts of your customer, and that has happened due to a failure in your process, then due to that the customer may move away, and however much you try he may not come because of the damage caused. Or if as a result of a delay, if he has incurred a huge loss, if he has lost a contract, a huge contract, and incurred a massive loss, then doesn't matter however much you try, sometimes they may not come. So apart from a huge issue, now the big issue, huge issue, or a grave mistake means the amount of damage that has happened, that will happen that has happened in terms of financial, the cost to the customer, then in terms of the damage to his ego and social status, right? Now those are the things, right? So the financial damage, and sometimes the non-financial factors such as the damage to his status, his dignity. So the way, the magnitude of the issue sometimes may say the customer will not come to you again. although you have a service recovery strategy. Then the second factor may be the strength of relationship. Generally, we have discussed when you have a long-term customer, repeat customer, even something goes wrong, the chances are high customer will forgive you and will stay with you. But if something goes wrong with a new customer, he might shift away, he might go away from you because he doesn't have a relationship. So that is one of the values of having a relationship. So when you have a relationship, when certain small mistakes happen, the customers will forgive you, will tolerate it, right? It depends on the strength of the relationship. Then next is customer's attitude towards switching. If the customer is having an attitude where he says something gets wrong, I have enough competitors, I have enough suppliers, so I will switch. And if he is having such an attitude that I'm not going to stay with anybody who will mess up with me, then it doesn't matter however much you try or whatever the recovery program you have, they will switch anyway. And fourth factor is due to accumulation of events. Now, you do a mistake once, the customer will forgive, he will understand. You do a mistake again, now he tolerates that also. Now, you are doing the mistake again and again, then you will find that there's a problem with the reliability of the company. So, if you are doing mistakes again and again and saying sorry, that sorry will not have any value. Right? So, it doesn't matter whatever the service recovery program you have, in such situations, the customers may switch from you because they will lose trust and the reliability will be lost, right? And then that is another reason. So when you talk about switching, sometimes despite having service recovery, customers may switch from your brand. Now, when you look at the switching behavior of customers, it's important that you understand uh, the customers will switch for several reasons. Uh, some of the reasons are related to pricing. So when you charge a high price, when you increase price, when you have unfair pricing, or when you have deceptive pricing, that means we say hidden charges, deceptive price. So then they might decide to switch. Then they might switch because of the inconvenience. Now, they find it difficult to come to your branch location. There's no parking. It's in a far distance. It's not in the major city. It's outside the city. So it's difficult for them to drive in, come in, or else sometimes it is difficult for them to park, right? And sometimes your hours are not compatible with him. You don't have extended hours. It's very rigid. So they find it very difficult to come to your bank and work with you. So when they find that, they will switch. Then if they have to wait for a longer time for appointment, and if they have to wait long times in queues to get the service, because of the inconvenience, they will switch. Third factor is service failures. Right? Service failures. Now this is the one. Now when you have service mistakes continuously, when you have billing errors, that means wrong statements, transactions not being properly updated, and all sometimes you don't uh, execute their instructions at the correct time or when they want it, and instructions are sometimes executed in a wrong way. They ask you to put a standing order of 5,000, you have put a 6,000 standing order. Or sometimes you an account, a check deposited to a customer's account is wrongly deposited to someone else's account. So uh, there can be several mistakes that may happen due to carelessness, negligence in the process with the people. So when such service mistakes, billing errors, service catastrophes, that is huge issues happen, they lose confidence and then they switch. So the Next one is when they are interacting with the organization, when they find service encounter failures, such as they find that the organizations or the employees don't care, and they are impolite in dealing with it. They don't respect the customer, or they are unresponsive. The customer want to get something done, but nobody is interested responding him, or where he wants to contact you but unable to contact. Right? And the employees does not show willingness to help, willingness to serve, and then unacknowledging. So you are there at the branch, nobody recognizes you, nobody greets you, right? Nobody finds you, nobody talks to you, although you have been a long-standing customer. Right? So you are not properly treated, you are not properly recognized, you are not acknowledged properly. So when these things happen, you feel negative, and there's a chance that you switch. Then the next factor is how the organization respond to service failures. Now, when there's a complaint, when something goes wrong, if they are negatively responding, like that previous example, we don't know what has happened, we don't care, we are unable to help you, we can't replace, it is your fault. So when negative responses are given, or there is no response, you are writing to them, you are complaining, nobody is replying, or they are reluctant to respond, right? So when you send a complaint, they very rarely respond, and they are saying, okay, what to do, we don't know what to, kind of things like that. Then you find it is not uh, it is not suitable to deal with you, and it is not uh, reliable, or basically a place that I can trust in doing things, because when something goes wrong, they don't support. So when something goes wrong, when they don't respond, how can I expect some fairness in dealing with these guys? If something goes wrong, who's there to save me? Then there's a problem. I have seen a particular taxi company. I have shifted from them, switched from them, although they have lower prices compared to the other taxi company. When something goes wrong, I find it very difficult to contact. There is no contact person. There is no hotline. Now we have to write something on the app itself. It's also difficult, and there is. I mean, it's very difficult to express our feelings and the real problem. So when I found that there is no responsible person, or the organization does not have anybody when I have a trouble to talk to, why should I use their taxi service? So despite their low charges, I removed the application and switched to a competitor who has at least a hotline to talk to a person and express our problem despite their charges are high. So remember, the response and the responsiveness is critical when it comes to retaining your customers. The next one is competition. So when they find a better competitor, better value, better price, they might switch. Now this will happen mainly due to low loyalty levels. If your customer is loyal, the competition will have to give them an extraordinary offer for them to move. Otherwise, they will not move. Just because they are 1 or 2% difference in the interest, just because a little bit of a service, they will not shift unless the competitor has something significant being given. So the switching behavior due to competition will largely depend on the loyalty level of your customer base. Then customer switching can happen due to ethical problems. If they feel that they have been cheated, or if they have been forced to sell things, right? They have been forced to take. They have been told, if you don't take this, we will not give you this benefit. If you don't take this, we will increase your price, and you force them to buy. Right? Say, if you don't take this, you can't deal with us. Right? And in that case, they will say, okay, you keep it, we'll move. Right? And if they find that it is unsafe, a lot of frauds are happening, and several mistakes, then they will switch. And if they find that there's a conflict of interest, right? For example, you do things that is against their beliefs, against their values, right? And against what they think good and right, then they will switch from you uh, on ethical grounds. Then the next one is involuntary switching. For example, the provider has closed, so you have closed down your bank or you have closed down your branch. As a result of that, now they find it not possible to take services from you. Therefore, they have switched to a company. Or else the customer has moved from Sri Lanka to another country because he is migrating. He has to close down, right? And go to a global bank, foreign bank. So such situations, those are involuntary switching. There's no other option, but because of that, they are switching. So these are 8 broad themes or 8 broad categories or kind of reasons we can identify underlying the decision to switch. Right? So out of that, you find response to service failure, service encounter failures, core service failures are critical factors that will impact the service switching behavior of a customer. Now, Donald Porter, Vice President, British Airways, he says customers don't expect you to be perfect. Now, this is very true. None of the customers expect you to be perfect. Now, no one expect that because they also know they are also not perfect, right? They do expect you to fix things when they go wrong, but every one of them expects you to fix things when they go wrong. So you can't run an organization where a mistake will never happen. That is not going to that is not realistic. But you must acknowledge the fact that you must have a proper program, proper procedure, proper service recovery strategy. So when something goes wrong, you identify it and you fix it to the satisfaction of the customer. So what are the service recovery strategies? What are the service recovery strategies? So let's talk about the service recovery strategies. We can talk about 8 different recovery strategies. Right. First one, make the service fail safe. That means you make sure that you do everything right first time, right? And you make sure that your processes, procedures, the people are well trained, well crafted, and well organized, so that there are the chances of a mistake being done or making a mistake is minimal. You have prevented in all possible ways. Right? So make the service fail safe. Second, encourage and track complaints. So complaints can be considered as a good source of feedback from customers and good source of feedback to correct the mistakes that is there in the process, procedures, in the system, in people. Then the third factor is that you need to act quickly, right? So make sure that you have a quick response to the complaints, right? Quick response when there is a service failure. The third is the fourth one can be provide adequate explanation. Adequate explanation. So when something goes wrong, explain why it has gone wrong and be genuine in doing that. Now let's discuss the first 4. Now out of those, let's take the first one, make the service fail safe. Right. the under this, what we are saying is do it right first time and make service recovery unnecessary. Right? So try to make sure that your organization follows the philosophy of doing things right first time and make service recovery unnecessary. So you can adopt total quality management (TQM) practices, right? So in there, how you confirm to the processes, right? So when there is a process, how you will ensure that your people the day-to-day operation will conform to the processes and the service standards. And when there is a gap, how you monitor it and how you take corrective actions so that conformance to the specified service standards are in place. Then another one can be the pokoyoke, right? Avoid mistakes, right? Yokeru means avoid, poka means mistakes, pokoyoke, right? So Japanese term that means fail safing or mistake proofing. Ensure essential procedures are followed, service steps are carried out in proper order in a timely manner. So you can have service checklists, you can have a monitoring system as to how your service is being delivered and tracking each service step. You can have the support from the technology to do that, and at the same time you can train people and retrain them, give them feedback, right? And then make sure that you have a mistake proofing mechanism. Sometimes the technology also can help. So when a human is trying to make a mistake, you can avoid it from the system itself, preventing him doing that, right? For example, if there is a dormant account and one of your tellers who is new is trying to uh, withdraw money out of it or give a withdrawal, then the system should not allow it. System should give a pop-up saying, hey, look here, this is a dormant account. So that teller trying to make a mistake will not do it. For example, if you are entering a wrong account number to do a deposit, it should trigger wrong account number. Or when you enter the account number, it should show the name of the person, so that there is a chance of cross-checking. Right? So you can use technology to prove as a foolproof mechanism. Right? Foolproof mechanism. For example, now when you go to the ATM, you can't insert a debit card in the wrong direction, right? So they say put it to the right side. So unless you put it in the right way, you can't enter it on the reverse way. Right? So the machine will not accept it. So you have to turn it and enter in the proper direction. Then in your organization, develop a zero defect culture, whereas everybody in the organization will try to do things first time right and prevent defects, mistakes, so that you can make sure that your organization is free of negligence, free of mistakes, because you have created a culture where everybody try to go for zero defects, right? So this is difficult but not impossible. So when you have this type of things, then again, don't expect this to make sure there will be no mistakes. Mistakes may happen, but generally you are running with a zero defect culture. Now, under that, there can be some failure that will happen due to situational factors, but it is not a common phenomenon. But it is not a phenomena which will repeat, right? So that is the culture you should create in your organization. So that will make sure that you will not have service failures, and it will be less. So quality service every time to every customer. This should be the vision. Quality service every time to every customer. So Next one is encourage and track complaints. Encourage and track complaints. If no one is perfect, and how can service be perfect? That is true, no? If no one is perfect, how can service be perfect? Services are performed by people. We talked about inseparability, no? So service cannot be separated from the provider. A complaint is an opportunity to improve. Encourage, track, and act on complaints if you wish to survive and thrive. A complaint is an opportunity to improve. Encourage, track, and act on complaints if you wish to survive and thrive. Right. So that is uh, one of the advices to you. So now most of the organizations have this in place. If you go to even banks, go to the websites of the banks, and you will find they have complaint numbers and complaint emails, right? So they say if you have a complaint, use this. Sometimes when you go to the ATMs, you find that they have displayed complaint number. And then when you go to the branches, you might find certain boxes being placed, complaints and suggestions, so that you can put whatever the suggestions and complaints to the box. And end of the day, someone senior, someone independent sometimes will open the box and take all those complaints. You might find complaint registers. I saw that once in Kiels, and I wrote a complaint also long time back to make sure that they yeah, include the loyalty to the mobile, because at that time when I went to Kiels, they wanted me to give the loyalty card to redeem points. This is a long time back, but I didn't have the loyalty card. I don't carry a lot of cards with me because my wallet will get cluttered, and then I don't keep the card. So I said, I don't have the card, but I want to redeem my points. They said, very sorry, without the card we can't redeem the points. So I remember going and writing on their complaint book, this is not right. You must allow the customer to redeem points even without the card, by verifying the customer or giving some OTP to the mobile or using the mobile. Now today, when we go to Keels, we have that facility, right? We just have to tell our number, we get a password, and we can redeem. Now I'm not telling they have done it because of my complaint, but still I did that. I made that complaint, writing it on the complaint register. I remember this complaint register. They When I said I want to make a complaint, they said, okay, there's a register, you can write. So I went and wrote. So you can have a complaint register, or you can say you can put some standards. You can say, okay, within 15 minutes or within half an hour, if your problem is not resolved, call this number. Right? Now that is also possible. Or else sometimes you might display it on your vehicles. So if something wrong is happening, something unethical is happening, let us know. Right? So make it easy for the customers to complain, and then when they complain, track it. Now it is happening in the social media platform also. Now most of the organization have their own social media pages, Facebook pages, Twitter, and websites. So when the customers go and complain in social media, they track these complaints. Right? So they track these complaints, and they hire PR agencies to do that. So the PR agencies will track these complaints, and then they respond. If you don't respond to these type of social media complaints, then they might go viral, right? So today that is there. And at the same time, you must have a mechanism inside your organization when complaints come from different touch points, different sources, to make sure those are gathered, analyzed, and corrective actions are taken. So you will say, whatever the complaints come to your branch, send it to us. Whatever the complaints come to the call center, send it to us. Whatever the complaints come from the social media, send it to us. Whatever the emails, uh, what you hear, the complaints of the customers, make sure those are tracked, so that you get all the complaints, and then you can analyze those. You can analyze, okay, why this complaint? Is it related to people, processes, systems, procedures? And then once you categorize, you can ask the question, okay, how can we improve? Now, there are complaints related to our procedure, and number of complaints are so big, we have to do some action. We have to take some action. Now, this customer has complained because he has found this procedure is not good, and we can change it in this way. Because see, sometimes it may be one customer who complain, but there can be several other customers who are not complaining but still not happy with this. So when that customer complains, if you can correct it and make it better, sometimes all the others who does not complain will also become satisfied. So likewise, complaints can be looked at as an opportunity and improve your service. So I think this is enough for today. It was a long session. So there are some more for us to discuss under this. Right? So as you can see, this presentation itself has 68 slides. So we will discuss the rest of the things next week. Right? We will discuss the rest of the things next week. I will make arrangements to upload this presentation to your portal. Right. So let me close it. And okay, if you have any questions, you can ask me now out of what we discussed now or the previous sessions. Any issues, complaints, any complaints from you or any clarifications you need? Aryaperuma, Kavindra, Thapuran. I see some of the people have not joined today. Unfortunately, this is an important session. We have observed in the past there have been questions from today's session and the previous session continuously. Right? So it is highly likely that you get a complaint, you get a question out of this area. Any clarifications that you need? Any questions you want to get an answer? Okay, if you don't have any, then we'll call it a day. So if you have any, you can also go through the presentations and speak to me next time. Right, so no questions, right? Okay, fine. So I think I gave you a model question last time, right? As a branch manager, what you will do to improve quality service, right? Improve quality of service. Now, at the same time, I also would like to tell you that you need to now attend to your past papers and see questions from these areas. And if you have any concerns, you can clarify. I don't think we have many more sessions to go. We have limited number. So during that time, you can now discuss with me any questions, then clarifications or support that you require with regard to the exam papers. So with that, let me conclude. When past papers are going to get uploaded, that you need to check with office, right? All right, okay. So now I get a message from the office that the next week uh, we can arrange a physical class. Now, that is so much the better, right? Because most of the time, certain activities we want to do, we can't do online. So it's good that we arrange a physical class. Classes are much more interesting and interactive than the online classes. So if the office uh, try to arrange a physical class, I invite you to join. That will be a very good experience, and we will be able to share much more examples and things, interactive sessions, having interactive sessions, activities during the physical class. So, with that note, I will conclude. Uh, for if you want any other clarifications regard to anything, you may contact the office. Thank you. Have a nice day.